The Painting. Written by Nicola Moccairo. Directed by Noah Patillo. Stage managed by Neda Yagane. Narrated by Skylar Byrne. Characters. Ellie Marino, age 11. Performed by Jolie Cohen. Andrew Marino, age 17. Ellie's brother, performed by Noah Dunton. Peter Marino, late 40s, early 50s. Ellie and Andrew's uncle, gallery owner and artist, performed by Adam Grodman. Mrs. Patterson, early 60s, neighbor/occasional babysitter to siblings, performed by Irene Juliá. Alexandra Anderson, age 11. Ellie's friend, performed by Kira Benton. Maggie Anderson, late 30s, early 40s. Alexandra's mother, performed by Catherine Logan. Visitors of Peter's Art Gallery, performed by Irene, Kira, and Catherine. It is May 20th, 1984. Scene 1. A portrait painting of Andrew is front and center in the gallery. His smile brightens up the room. Silhouettes of visitors walking around the gallery can be seen, but not heard. Ellie sits in a chic bench in the middle of the space, staring at the painting of her brother. She is empty.
Does your face get tired?
From what?
Smiling?
I get a little sore.
I miss that feeling. I want it again.
You'll get it again.
Promise?
I promise, as always.
I heard it gives you wrinkles.
Smiling?
Yeah.
Says who?
One of the ladies who walked by earlier, the one with the fur coat.
Did she have any wrinkles?
Not really.
Boring.
What do you mean?
If an old person has no wrinkles, it means they never smiled or laughed. No smiling and laughing means they had no fun in their life. Therefore, boring.
I want wrinkles.
You're way too young.
Will you have some?
But where?
Under your eyes.
Oh, those are just eye bags. Those don't count.
Uncle Peter didn't include them on your face.
Well, he has plenty for all of us to spare. How's he been?
I don't know.
You don't know?
He's weird.
Yeah, he's always been weird.
But
what?
he's hyper.
Hyper?
I don't know. Remember that dog we saw a while ago that was really small and looked cute, but when I went to pet it, it growled at me and its face was frozen and its eyes got really wide. Kind of looked possessed.
Yeah, I remember.
He's like that.
Has he growled at you? Was his face frozen?
I mean, no, but I felt vibes.
Vibes. In your gut?
In my gut. Andrew?
Yeah?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
Why did you leave?
I'm sorry.
Why did you leave me? Andrew, please. It hurts.
Breathe.
Tell me, please, Andrew, please.
At the last please, Ellie reaches to hold Andrew's hand, but a man taps her shoulder.
Hello, sweetheart. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I was just, yeah.
You know it's not good for your neck to keep it in that position for so long. Hey, how about you walk around a little bit? Stretch your legs out. See? Doesn't that feel better? You know, everyone has been asking about you. They would love to talk to you.
Ellie looks at the painting with a concentrative gaze, trying to make out words from a faraway place. Peter bends down to meet her eye level. He places his hand on her arm.
Ellie, darling. Ellie, look at me.
Ellie looks at his hand before finally looking at her uncle's face.
You can't stay quiet forever. You also can't keep staring at him forever. He's gone, Ellie. We've talked about this.
His subtle grip on her arm becomes tighter.
I know this is difficult, but you can't keep doing this, sweetie. You're here. You are living. Andrew would not have wanted you to stay staring at him for who knows how long, every day. He would want you to live the life that was taken from him.
Taken.
Peter nods solemnly and takes off his glasses, wiping away tears, but his grip remains solid on her arm.
I apologize. You know.
Oh my, it's simply heartbreaking.
Beautiful, truly.
No tears of someone so young. True bravery.
That is my Ellie.
Here, the resemblance between them is uncanny. How far apart were they?
6 years. This strong girl here is 11.
Mr. Marino, is it?
Yes, that is me.
Are you taking questions about the paintings?
Of course.
Lights come up on the rest of the paintings hung around the gallery. The portraits are of people of all ages. Ellie refuses to look at them.
So, how long does it usually take per painting?
It takes approximately 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes less, depending on the urgency of the family's wishes. Some folks want them as soon as possible, while others like to wait to allow themselves to grieve. Having a painting with so much soul can either help to heal or make feelings worse, but it entirely depends on what the family would like.
I presume you use oil on canvas?
Why, yes, I do.
He lets go of Ellie, and she makes her way to the outside of the crowd as they eat up Peter's words, a speech she has heard too many times before.
As you can see here, oil paintings work very well with replicating skin tone, texture, and especially undertones, the blues, the purples, the pinks, and whatnot. It is up to the artist to closely resemble these colors as much as possible for realism. It all comes down to the details of these paintings.
Andrew appears in the blue spotlight next to Ellie. He's smoking a cigarette.
Oh, here he goes.
As usual. I thought you said you were going to stop.
It really doesn't make a difference anymore.
I guess that's true. Can I try it?
Over my dead body.
You're a dick.
Whoa! L language! But seriously, though, you can have one only when you need it in the way I showed you.
I remember.
You know how to use the lighter, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Andrew goes to nudge Ellie playfully, but he can't touch her. They both notice with sorrowful awkwardness and return to listening to Peter.
The goal of this project was to capture the essence of someone who once lived. I have always believed that a painting holds not only a part of the artist who creates it, but the soul of the being inside of it. It is a form of living forever. There is a beautiful set of lines from the works of William Shakespeare, Sonnet 18, which goes, "Nor shall death brag, thou wanderest in his shade. When in eternal lines to time thou growst, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee." But William, did you say something?
No.
Yes. So, as I was saying, what Shakespeare talks of in this work is that time will pass, people will come and go, society will change, but in these words, the love of his life will live forever. And that is the essence of these portraits. Your loved ones may not be present, but it is only the simplest human service of mine to provide a path for them to live without the physical body. So, the more realistic I can depict them, the more their soul adapts to the canvas.
Are you in the canvas?
How do you choose which image to portray?
Are you?
Well, it is entirely up to the family. They provide the reference that shows who the person was, like an item of clothing they used to wear often, or a color they liked. I am simply the muse, if I do say so myself.
I assume it's difficult to find that image, especially if you yourself knew the person.
You know where I am.
What does...
Ellie! Ellie! I don't know where she went off to.
I'm over here.
Ah, there she is, silly thing. You know, kids always running off. I should put a bell on you. Come here, sweetie.
Places his hands on her shoulders with a tighter grip than before, pulling her to him.
Ow!
Elizabeth, may I?
Ellie.
It's a simple mistake. It's okay.
Okay, Ellie, did you choose this image of your brother?
No.
Well, actually, it was a collaborative effort. We had the original photo on our wall of the family, and we always choose which photos to put up together, don't we? Don't we, Ellie?
Yes.
How sweet.
Haha.
So, how long has it been, if I may ask, since the incident?
3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Could you repeat that?
3 weeks. Time seems to go by quickly. The days and weeks blend together, as you maybe have encountered in a time of loss, God forbid.
2.
2?
2 weeks. I keep track.
It's been difficult for her. She hasn't been in the right mind.
Andrew appears in his blue light off to a side of the stage. He has a bruise on his face.
2 weeks.
Yup.
I'm not making that up.
Nope.
I'm not crazy.
You aren't.
He's
what?
he's a liar.
He is. Don't be ashamed of saying that. It's a fact.
But what if he hears me?
He can't. You're talking to me.
He heard me say William.
Okay, if he did Ellie, breathe.
I'm trying. My stomach hurts. My chest.
Just breathe. Do it with me. Good, Elle.
I'm scared.
Don't be.
You're not here.
I know.
You fought with him. I didn't.
And that's okay.
Well, what if he tries to do something to me?
He won't. You're the good sibling, remember?
I do.
He didn't like me because I spoke up against his bullshit. Sorry, the BS. Just remember what I told you. You gotta stay quiet around him. Let me take the beating.
Ellie looks at physical Andrew in his light. She sees his bruise.
It's not fair.
I know.
I didn't like when he did that.
Who?
Peter.
Peter?
Yeah, dummy.
What did he do?
He beat you up, remember? That's why you have that bruise.
What are you talking about? What is she talking about?
She?
Ellie.
Yeah?
Ellie!
What?
Ellie!
Oh.
Ellie collapses on the floor and Andrew disappears. Peter holds her with a look of ambiguous panic. The visitors are gathered around with a curious fear.
What's happening?
Ellie, sweetheart, are you feeling okay? Ah, good, good. She's breathing better now.
Huh?
What was she saying earlier?
Would you like some water?
I don't...
Beating?
Can you stand up, darling?
Mr. Marino, is that true?
What's going on?
You were saying things. You started breathing really quickly, possibly a panic attack, and fell down, and you started to...
Please, give my niece space.
Your niece?
Yes, my niece.
I thought you were their father.
No, 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 no. I'm their uncle.
Where are their parents?
Did you beat your nephew?
Mr. Marino, what was she talking about?
Please, ladies, gentlemen, please. I understand there is confusion, but if you could settle down, I will explain. Please, forgive me. It has been incredibly chaotic for myself and for Ellie these past few weeks. Overwhelming, as you may understand. But listen, when Ellie said beating, it was because of her brother's passing. We've kept this quiet between our family and the police because he went out one night and was beat up by a group of bullies. He went missing for around 2 days, and when Ellie found him, he was covered in scars and bruises.
Oh, my heart and stars. Poor thing.
Do you have any leads?
As of right now, no. But our main concern is making sure that Ellie is okay. Of course, this is difficult for me, too, being that I've taken care of the two of them since Ellie was 3 years old, Andrew being 9.
What happened to their parents?
They passed away in a car crash.
Oh, God. These poor kids. Ellie, my dear, would you like a tissue?
No.
Her gestures for the visitors to give them space. They comply. Ellie keeps her gaze on the portrait. Andrew is seen again standing under the painting, covered in bruises and dried blood over his sweatshirt, jeans, and sneakers. His hair is a mess, and there is a cut on his lip. The bags under his eyes are dark, and his skin is sullen. He is the complete opposite of the bright portrait above him.
Sweetie, do you need to use the bathroom? A drink of water? It's right down that hall on the right side. If you need to go home and sleep, I'll call Mrs. Patterson and she'll pick you up. I'll do that now, actually. I know there's a lot going on with all these people here, but...
Liar.
What?
My God. You're a liar.
Ellie, darling, where is this coming from?
Ellie quickly shoots a look in Andrew's direction. Peter looks behind him to see what she was looking at and returns with a darkened face. Ellie twitches for a spark of fear, but remains strong.
Go home, Ellie. We'll have a talk later.
I'm on his side.
He's dead. There is no side.
You would think.
Scene 2. This scene should be mine. There is nobody in the gallery except Peter, Ellie, and the paintings. Peter is on the phone, pacing aggressively. Ellie is still and does not look at Peter. The painting looms above with judgment. It is tense. Peter gets off the phone and Mrs. Patterson enters. She and Peter speak to each other. She holds Ellie by the hand and walks with her off stage. Ellie looks at the painting as she leaves and then stops. She and Peter stare down into each other. Mrs. Patterson pulls Ellie away. They exit. Peter looks at the painting like seeing a familiar face in a public place that you do not want to see. Out of the silence, he kicks the bench on stage loudly and tries to gather his composure. He grabs it, pulls it to the painting, and pulls it off the stand in anger. He turns around and sees Andrew on the opposite side of the stage that Ellie has left. He is as disheveled as before. The two look at each other. Andrew finishes his cigarette and flicks the butt to Peter. He exits. Peter reluctantly puts the painting back where it was. He leaves. Scene 3. Ellie and Mrs. Patterson have made it home. They walk into the living room.
Ellie? Ellie, are you okay, darling? You barely said a word.
I'm fine.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Sure.
Peppermint or green?
Peppermint.
Patterson goes to the kitchen and begins to heat up a mug of water. Ellie walks to her and Andrew's room, but stops at the door. Her hand is shaking on the doorknob. She turns around.
Mrs. P?
Yes, darling. Yes.
I think Peter did it.
Did what?
He hurt Andrew. I think Peter did something to Andrew that night.
Well, why do you think that?
At the gallery earlier, he lied about how long it had been since Andrew died.
Well, how do you know he lied?
Because he said 3 weeks instead of 2.
He could have simply made a mistake.
Nobody knows. I know he knows. He's lying.
Ellie, darling, sometimes when there is an unfortunate incident, time seems to warp. It could go by quickly or slowly or a mix of the in-between. Distress can do that to someone.
He isn't distressed.
People often feel pain, or show pain for that matter, in different ways.
He isn't in pain. He hasn't cried yet. He keeps telling me to clean out Andrew's side of the room.
Or maybe he's processing it in ways that you cannot see.
What does that mean?
Well, he's a painter. Painting can be very therapeutic.
No. That's not it. He never liked Andrew, and now he lied about when he disappeared.
Darling, calm down. Breathe. Here, sit. Why are you concerned about the time?
Because his paintings take 3 or 4 weeks. Andrew has been gone for 2.
Oh, dear.
He couldn't have painted Andrew in 2 weeks. He started it earlier. He had to. He knew Andrew was going to die.
Ellie, calm down. You're just in distress. That is all. Here, let me get your tea.
Mrs. Patterson gets up to the now steaming kettle and pours the hot water into the mug. She brings the mug back to the coffee table.
Let that steep.
Are you listening to me?
I am, Ellie.
Why don't you care?
Ellie, I do care. I've been taking care of you and your brother for years. You know that. I would not have helped your uncle out if I did not care.
Then why aren't you worried?
About what?
Peter!
Ellie, drink your tea. You'll feel calmer.
Mrs. P.
Ellie, your uncle is a complicated man. He always has been since I could remember. He is a truly brilliant man and his artwork is beautiful, but he has his problems. He would never just kill someone. Well, darling, you saw the news reports and what the police had said. It was bullies who took your brother away from you. Problem solved.
But there has to be more.
Ellie.
My gut.
Your gut?
Yes, Andrew said to always follow my gut, and that is what I'm doing. There is more. There has to be. Nothing makes sense.
Ellie, darling, you shouldn't follow something so serious with a bodily emotion.
But Andrew.
Ellie, darling, finish your tea, and perhaps you should go to sleep.
No, Andrew is dead. He's dead. I don't believe bullies got him. I saw him. I saw his body. I knew Andrew. I knew he didn't have bullies. He never hurt anyone enough to make them hate him. Nobody. And even if there were, where did they go? They can't disappear in thin air. They can't. It's also not possible that they could have gotten him in the first place. Andrew was driving that night. He drove me to Alexandra's house and then to his friend's house. I found him nowhere near his friend's house. Nope, no. How did Peter know? How did he know he was going to die? Why would he paint him?
Ellie.
I want him back. I want to hurt the person who took him away from me. I want to hurt them.
Ellie angrily goes to grab the hot cup of tea, but Mrs. Patterson jumps up to stop her. She grabs her and pulls her into a tight hug, to which Ellie cries and becomes weak. Mrs. Patterson rocks her back and forth. The room is silent, other than Ellie's weeping. Scene 4. A flashback to May 6, 1984, 2 weeks preceding the present. The lights are warm. Ellie and Andrew are in their room. Ellie is packing her things in an overnight bag. Andrew sits on the edge of his bed with his hands clasped.
Do you have everything?
I think so. My bag is really full.
Toothbrush?
Check.
Clothes?
Check.
Pads?
Andrew.
Hey, it's a normal thing that happens. I just want to make sure you're prepared just in case.
Fine. Yes, check.
Good. So you ready to go?
Yeah. You know I'm only staying over at Alexandra's for the night, right?
Yes, silly. I'm just trying to be a good brother who's making sure his little sister knows how to pack.
I guess.
I'll teach you how to jumpstart a car next.
Really?
Yeah, Elle.
Awesome.
Andrew walks to the door and listens for a few seconds without being too obvious.
Okay, it's getting late. Let's head out.
Andrew takes Ellie's bag, but discreetly puts a mystery item on top of her clothes before zipping up the bag and carrying it out, following his sister out of the bedroom door. As they reach the door, the basement door is opened by Peter. His hands are covered in paint as he goes to the kitchen sink to wash up. Andrew tenses up.
Where are you two going? It's nearly 9.
Ellie has a play date and I'm going to Brandon's house.
I didn't know Ellie had a play date with who?
Alexandra. Her mom has pizza ingredients so we can make our own pizzas, and she also has some cool movies to watch, so.
That's wonderful, Ellie, but I was not informed.
I set it up.
You did.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice for her.
So last minute?
It wasn't last minute. We've been planning it for a while.
And you didn't tell me about the fun plans.
I suppose I forgot to mention it.
Why are you going to Brandon's?
Because he's my friend and I want to hang out with him.
That kid isn't good news.
Oh, he's fine.
I don't want you hanging around him. I've heard stories. You need to surround yourself with better people. Perhaps going to college might have crossed your mind.
It has.
You would want to make your mother proud.
Don't talk about my mother.
Andrew.
If only she could see you now.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know where you are half the time anymore. You're always out doing who knows what with who knows who. You make plans without telling me. You barely let me see my own daughter without you hovering over her.
She isn't your daughter.
Andrew!
We're leaving now. Let's go, Ellie.
Ellie leaves first, and Andrew opens his mouth to speak to Peter, but he chooses to close it. He leaves and slams the door a little too harshly. Scene 5. The flashback of May 6th continued. The lights are warm. Ellie and Andrew are walking up to the door of Alexandra's house later that evening.
So, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm so hungry. I can't wait to eat. I still don't know how much cheese I'm going to put on my pizza, but I guess I'll figure it out.
When in doubt, put more cheese.
Good thinking.
He rings the doorbell. Within seconds, Alexandra opens the door. Her mother, Maggie, follows after.
Hey, Ellie.
Hey!
I have all of the movies laid out on the floor, but my dad got me an early VHS release of Footloose today, so if you want to see that. Also, my mom bought not one, but 3 different types of cheese for pizza.
Oh my god, yes!
Ellie runs inside excitedly with Alexandra.
Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Mrs. Anderson.
I can take that for you if you like.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
She hands her Ellie's overnight bag.
Is everything all right? Not to sound rude, but you look tired.
Everything's fine. Thank you for asking, though.
Would you like to join us for pizza?
It's okay. I'm not too hungry, and I was just about to head to my friend's house, Brandon's house.
Okay. I guess the school year has been tiring for all of us.
Yeah, I have a lot of homework to do, but I'm going to graduate soon, so that's good.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. Is it okay if I talk to Ellie for a moment?
Of course. Ellie!
Yeah?
Your brother wants to talk to you.
Okay. Yep.
Ellie,
Yeah?
I love you.
I love you too.
Andrew bends down to Ellie's height and embraces her tightly.
That's very tight.
Sorry.
He continues to hug her, but rests his head on hers. He has tears in his eyes.
Are you okay?
I'm fine, Elle.
You're scaring me.
How?
You seem nervous.
I'm just a little stressed out, that's all.
Is there anything I could do?
Just be.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about anything. You'll have fun tonight and I'll pick you up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Andrew wipes his eyes before he lets go of Ellie, so she can see his face.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yes. Everything is okay and everything will be okay. I promise. Pinky promise?
He puts his pinky out and Ellie wraps hers around his. Andrew gives her a big smile that competes with the sun, stands up, and kisses the top of her head.
Okay, Elle, go make some pizzas.
I will.
I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Love you. See you tomorrow.
Ellie goes back inside and Andrew closes the door for her. He takes a deep breath to compose himself. He reaches into his sweatshirt pocket and unfolds a switchblade. He looks at it in his palm and gently moves it back and forth, as if practicing. The blade is slightly shakes from his nervousness. He puts it back into his pocket. He looks back to the door, but takes another breath and leaves to his car.
Okay, so I was also thinking that maybe we can watch E.T. or Annie after. Oh, do you have pajamas, by the way? You can borrow mine if you want.
Yes, I love E.T. And it's okay, my pajamas are in my bag. I'll get them now.
Ellie goes to her bag and finds Andrew's The Clash band shirt laid on top of her clothes. It is the same shirt he is wearing in the portrait painting. Ellie is confused, but holds the soft shirt in her hands and runs to the front door to see if Andrew is still there. He is gone. Present day, May 20th. Mrs. Patterson and Ellie are still sitting on the couch. Ellie leans up from her lap and Mrs. Patterson wipes away her tears.
Here, this should be cooler now.
Thank you. I think I'm going to sleep now.
Okay, sweetheart.
Ellie brings a cup of tea with her to her room and closes the door. She turns around and puts her ear to the door and listens to Mrs. Patterson. Mrs. Patterson stands around for a moment, unsure of what to do with herself, but then grabs a newspaper and sits around. Scene 7. Ellie sits on her bed and analyzes the room. She should take her time with this. She then begins to search throughout Andrew's side of the room. As she searches, Ghost Andrew should be sitting on her bed. She isn't fully aware he is there, but she is subconsciously listening to him. When she talks, she is speaking out loud to herself, unaware of how much she is talking to Andrew without knowing it.
Wow, his closet is messy.
I mean, I know where everything is. Organized chaos.
Maybe there's something up there on the shelf?
It's just some old sneakers in a sleeping bag. Don't worry, Elle.
Maybe there's something I can stand on.
Nope.
I thought we had a stool.
You're cold.
Ellie returns to the closet and takes a moment to hold and sniff one of his jackets. Andrew looks at her fondly.
Keep searching, Ellie.
Ellie returns the jacket to where it was. She continues to search through some of his drawers. Ellie opens up the bottom drawer,
Oh no, Elle, no.
taking out a condom.
What's this?
Never mind. Put it back. It's nothing. Nothing.
Ellie puts back the condom and closes the drawer. She gets on his bed and begins to take off some of the posters to search underneath.
Colder.
Sometimes in movies they have secret safes in the walls.
Ah, I didn't think of that. I should have done that. That would have been cool.
Nothing.
Sorry, Elle.
Ellie begins to search through the blankets of the bed, in the pillowcases, and even under the mattress. Andrew sits with more attention.
Warmer.
Come on, you have to have something.
Warmer, Ellie.
Ellie gets on her knees and searches under the bed. She stops as she touches an item.
Bingo.
She brings out a beautiful wooden box.
Open it.
Oh my god, his notebook. Of course. Oh, we had a lot of homework assignments that aren't crossed off. Is this a sketch of his crush?
Oh, shut up.
He played tic-tac-toe a while, and he won this one.
A true game of intelligence and skill.
Ellie flips through the pages until a small Polaroid photo falls out. It is a photo of Ellie and Andrew. She holds it as Andrew smiles on with love.
This is from last year. My birthday.
Ellie's eyes begin to tear up. She wipes them away and puts the photo in her pocket. Andrew still looks solemn.
Read, Ellie.
Diary entries. This is from last year. October 12th, 1983. I have a bad feeling and I don't know what to do.
When the diary entries are being read, Andrew recites them but moves around the space, reenacting his ever-growing anxiety from the last months of living. This is what he was going through when Ellie was unaware and not at home. Ellie remains seated on the bed as she reads, but becomes more and more panicked as she receives all of this new information.
I thought that writing diary or journal entries or whatever the fuck they are might help. I heard people do that. But I made a mistake by going into the basement. I was always drawn to it anyway because, duh, if there's a sign that says, keep out in my own damn house, that I know has to be safe because my uncle is there all the time, I would want to go in it. So I did, and sure, yeah, it was like what I expected, just a bunch of art supplies everywhere. But look, okay, I went over to Peter's desk and I found an old framed photo of my mom and him, but it was ripped on the side as if he tore something off of it and So I thought that was weird, and then I kept looking around, and in one of his drawers, it was literally filled to the brim with shit about my mom. My mom, Helena. I'm just freaking out right now, and I don't know if I should tell Ellie or not. I really don't want to confront Peter, but I feel scared. I know that if I seem scared, Ellie's going to get scared, and then Peter's going to notice, and I'm going to take a shower. Maybe I'm just making this shit up, and I'm I'm dreaming right now. I don't know. I just don't know what to feel, and I think I'm going to throw up. Help.
February 20th, 1984.
I feel sick. Maybe it's the cigarettes, but they feel nice. I don't like them, though. I just don't know how to calm myself down. I was trying to write in class the other day, but I can't. I just can't break the idea of Peter and my mom. I think he's starting to catch on to something now that I know that something's up. I knew I shouldn't have kept testing him and mentioning her. He has always been a son of a bitch to me, but I regret it. And I've been keeping Ellie away from him, but I don't know if it's helping or not. I'm scared. I'm scared I'm taking it too far. I can handle a beating, but I just don't know what to do. I thought my parents loved each other. I only remember them being nice and kind and kissing each other, and I just don't think my mom would have ever cheated on my dad. Never. Oh, God, even thinking about that makes me want to puke. How do people deal with this shit?
April 16th, 1984.
I don't know what to do. Diary, if you are actually a real entity thing that's supposed to help give me answers, then please help me. I think Peter rigged it. He rigged the car. Like the library newspaper from when the car crash happened said that there was an issue with the brakes or some shit. I knew my parents. My dad was so thorough with everything, and my mom had anxiety, and there is no way in hell both of them would choose to drive while knowing the brakes were fucked up. Look, I know that car problems happen, but this is too coincidental to be true. I don't know what to say or how to feel, and I still haven't told Ellie anything, and she's really smart, and I know she's going to figure out that something is wrong. Peter hasn't let up on the harassment of me mentioning my mom a lot. I'm scared. Whenever we argue, it always ends up with curses and punches thrown, and I can handle it, but I don't want Ellie around it. I need to get her out of here. I don't want Peter to take his anger out on her. I know that she looks like our mom, and I don't even want to think about what he would do to her. It isn't safe here, and I need to get her away from this jackass.
May 5th, 1984.
It all makes sense now. Peter was in love with our mother, obsessed with her, but she married his brother, my dad. They were in love. They had me, and they had Ellie. My dad found out about his obsession. He didn't like it. He packed up the car to take his wife and me and Ellie away. Somewhere safe. Peter rigged the car to hurt him, to hurt his brother for stealing his love. They crashed on their way to pick us up from school. Peter took care of us. He did it to cover his fucking ass from making it seem to the public like he didn't do anything. He killed my parents. He took the love of parents away from their children for his selfishness, and now I'm going to kill him. I need to protect Ellie from this maniac. She has always looked like our mother. I don't want him to sexualize her, love her. Oh, God, I can barely write that. I'm scared, but this is what has to happen. Nobody gets away with hurting, killing the people I love. I'm following my gut. I kill him. I clean up the evidence. I pick Ellie up from Alexander's house. We leave. I protect her. Easy.
Easy.
Scene 9. In the living room, Peter has now arrived home. He and Mrs. Patterson exchange a few words. Ellie freezes. She listens. Mrs. Patterson is reluctant to leave, but one quick look at Peter and she leaves, shutting the door behind her. It is too quiet. As if in a trance, Ellie goes to the drawer beneath her bed and takes out Andrew's band shirt. As she puts the shirt on, Andrew takes a cigarette out of his pack and puts it on the floor along with his lighter. He disappears.
Ellie, darling, can you come out for a moment?
Ellie turns and sees the cigarette and lighter at her feet. She picks the items up.
Your light is on. I know you weren't asleep. We need to have a little talk.
Ellie opens the door with eerie confidence. She is radiating a graceful rage.
Here. Ellie, sit, relax.
You killed my parents.
What?
You killed my brother.
I did no such thing. How could you say that?
Ellie begins to light the cigarette.
Ellie, what are you doing? How did you get that? Give that to me.
Peter lunges forward to grab the cigarette from her, and without hesitation, she throws his glasses away and sticks the burning end right into his eye. He screams.
What the fuck?
He knocks Ellie off to the side into the kitchen. He chases her around the space, knocking over anything in sight, and kicks the couch away. Ellie grabs random items within her reach and throws them at Peter, almost joyfully. Peter corners Ellie into the kitchen, and she kicks him right in the crotch. He yells out. She laughs. Peter then grabs her at the last moment and slams her into the kitchen counter. Ellie screams in pain, but Peter covers his mouth with his palm. The audience should only be barely able to hear that she is screaming for her brother. Peter forces her to look at him.
You were always so kind, Elizabeth, so thoughtful, so intelligent, but blinded by the lies of your brother. You need to wake up. Your brother did this to you. He manipulated your innocence into hating me. I have always loved you. I did you a favor. You can be free now, Elizabeth, free to think, free to be yourself, your own person, without the poison of exploited hatred. Do not let people get in the way of your heart. That's what I did long ago, and I acted upon it, but I lost my love. Do not make that mistake, Elizabeth.
Ellie has stopped screaming. Peter slowly lets her face go.
Fuck you.
Ellie spits in Peter's face and reaches into the nearest drawer and brings out a terrifyingly sharp knife. Peter grabs Ellie's wrist with the knife. Scene 10. The space is empty and dark, except for a single spotlight. A figure limps towards the light. It is Ellie. She's covered in blood with a bloody handprint on her face. She holds the knife weakly in her hand. Andrew enters opposite of her and joins with his sister in the spotlight. They are a pair of beat-up and gory siblings.
I love you.
I love you too.
Ellie drops the knife and the two embrace. Blackout.